Takes us to item 3.11. This is an Economic Development Agency Facilities Management proposal to adopt an order initiating an ordinance prohibiting solicitation on county property. I don't know if EDA wants to give an overview. There was an article in the newspaper about this that explained its purpose. And you think you can thread the needle here of definition to make this work?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Lisa Brandel, Managing Director, Economic Development Agency. The purpose of this is to work on introducing an ordinance that would prohibit unsolicited or unauthorized solicitation on county property. There was some issues of a large congregation occurring at the historic courthouse, and we will work with county council to make sure that the ordinance is enforceable for the sheriff's department. And if there is a need for solicitation, we do issue use permits on our county property. This is just to have some kind of procedure for solicitation on county property.
All right, very good. I'll call on Gary Grant. And he'll be followed by Julie Waltz.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board, and our esteemed attorney. This issue, under these critical situations economically, tells me that we're going down the wrong road. When you put into economic development an estimated process with of $10,000 to prevent people from protesting or something in public property, it appears to me that there's not enough information on this paperwork that you've supplied in your submittal for the people to realize that this is a major issue. There was talk of a court action. I think that what you're doing is stifling the general public. And to stifle the general public under these circumstances, under these economic conditions, is the wrong thing to do. I'm a taxpayer, and I don't want to pay that $10,000 estimated by Mr. Field. I think once you place anything of this nature into an agency of this kind, it will extend itself, the same as the RDA, and it becomes a cancer in our government. And I think it's about time you realize that this is happening and stop this waste of money. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Grant. Now, Ms. Waltz again, and she'll be followed by Francois Choquette.
Hello? Yeah, it's on. Okay, well, again, I'm going to talk about the issue of protesting. As you can see, I mean, this is hard to believe. Again, here we go again. This happened over 90 years ago, and you know the issue here is things haven't changed. The government is still trying to stop people from protesting. This lady, is this one up here? Is this one showing? Is this one showing? Okay, all right. They were arresting people. This was women and putting ladies in jail for obscuring the sidewalk traffic. I mean, where are people supposed to go to protest when they have an issue concerning the government? You know, I mean, could you answer my questions for me?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, we do have some comments here. First, County Council, and then I'll turn to Supervisors.
Thank you, Ms.
Stone, Ashley, and Tavolini.
Ms. Walz, under no circumstances is this ordinance addressing non-commercial speech, protesting, or politics. It's strictly dealing with commercial conduct, the sale, the purchase of property, goods and services and the like. It's not designed and it's not intended and it will not curb political, non-commercial speech.
But I have to reiterate what Mr. Grant just said. It's the ordinance, I know it's just an introductory, but the language is very, very vague, very vague.
That will be addressed. I think when you see it come back, you'll see that it's not going to be addressing non-commercial activities.
And the $10,000, I mean, my gosh, aren't we in a financial bind already? We're going to spend another $10,000 of taxpayers' money? I don't agree with that whatsoever. And have there been any incidents over there at the courthouse? Have there been any aggressive solicitors? You know, I've served on jury duty myself, and I've never seen anybody getting out of control trying to sell their goods. Maybe they need to get a license or something. I don't know, because, like I said, the language is very vague. But I think you should reconsider that also. I mean, under your oath of office, you're supposed to uphold the Constitution. Or if you guys want to do that, why don't you find some other ways to rewrite the Constitution and take away our rights? Because it seems like that's what you're trying to do. I mean, every time we turn around, you're trying to stop us from speaking out or standing on sidewalks or...
Ms. Waltz, I can understand your concern here, but this if it's done right, and we'll be looking at that closely, I think would actually enhance the ability of people to exercise their constitutional political rights out there, courthouse steps, other county venues and buildings, as long as they're doing it in a safe manner and they can let people who are conducting business through and this sort of thing. But it would actually enhance the ability to protest.
But once again, don't we already have penal codes on the books that would take care of that?
Maybe the EDA can answer the circumstances that gave rise to this. I take this is not a redundant ordinance. This is something that's they didn't have an answer for. But maybe perhaps Mr. Field, if you'll let him speak for a moment, Mr. Rob Field can answer the question.
I tried to get a hold of him yesterday, but he was busy.
Well, you got him today.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yes, Supervisors again, Rob Field, Assistant CEO, EDA. The driver behind this was a request from the courts to relocate the auctioneers who have been appearing on the courthouse in front of the historic courthouse for the last 2.5 years, and sort of, we haven't been able to regulate them. This really is a question more, I think, of regulating commerce as opposed to a freedom of speech type of a situation. So it's intended to regulate that type of activity. That was the genesis of this.
Yeah, so they're selling things. In this case, they were selling foreclosed properties, but it could be any type of sales pitch out there. Now, would it regulate a nonprofit that went up there to raise money? Girl Scout cookies? There's a whole range of things that people want to sell in public venues.
Potentially, although there's provisions, I think, for all those restrictions to be waived. But again, this action was actually initiated at the request of the court executive officer. So that was the initial target. There's always a law of unintended consequences, but I think we have the opportunity also to waive the requirements where necessary.
Okay, and currently you don't have any other tool at your disposal, nor do the courts, to be able to exclude such activities.
That is correct. Working with county council, we'd explored all options, and this was the only thing that we had come up with that would work. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Pam. If you have anything you want to add.
The county or the board does have a solicitation policy in government buildings and county buildings. The court has had to have a mechanism in which to enforce that as well. My understanding is that there's quite a bit of sales going on and use of the property that may be interfering with the proper uses of the facility for court functions and the overall compatibility of the sales in connection with the use of the courthouse. This is not going to be, and will likely have an exemption for non-commercial speech. And so we want to reiterate that. That's not going to be addressed in this ordinance. It's just going to be the commercial aspect and conduct of sales, and purchases of goods, products, and services.
Board members have some comments and or questions. Supervisor Stone, then Supervisor Ashley and Tavoloni.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I don't have any questions for Ms. Walls. I do have a question for Mr. Fields. I understand part of the reason this is being brought forward is there are private entities that are on county property, using county property for their own commercial advantage. An example would be those that are seeking to issue bail bonds for people that are being incarcerated. You have bail bond agents working within our court facilities soliciting clients, which is inappropriate. They can do it outside the court facilities. My only concern with the ordinance is that we have very generous employees that often work on behalf of nonprofits such as the United Way, the Bite Out of Hunger. You know, you spend $1, you get to wear jeans to work, and it goes to some good causes. So I would just like to get your buy-in, and County Council, I'd like to have it written in that we'd like to exclude, for sure, nonprofit organizations, including we have every year we have a fair on the bottom floor of the county that discusses the benefit packages that our employees are looking to receive, life insurance policies, health plans, deferred comp companies. We need to ensure that they are still able to come in and do the work that they do. And by all means, those people that wish to protest, whatever language you need to put in there, this is not applicable to them. This is a solicitation ordinance. This is not a protesting ordinance.
All right,
Rob, is that
Supervisor.
okay?
That's absolutely intent, and that's as an ordinance language is being drafted, we'll take that into account. Absolutely.
You're going to accommodate that in the ordinance. Okay. Supervisor Ashley.
Okay, I had the same concerns as outlined by Supervisor Stone.